So what did we think about the Carnival Paradise? That's coming up. Our Carnival Paradise review. So today we're going to give you our opinions on the Carnival Paradise and what we thought of the ship. We're going to give you 3 things we liked about the ship, 3 things we didn't like about the ship, and 3 things we thought was just okay. So I think we'll hold off on the dislikes till the end. So why don't we start with the just okay.
Okay, so the first just okay we have on our list is the beds. They were way better in my opinion than Royal Caribbean's bed, but we are kind of spoiled on our beds. If you've seen our last few, you obviously know this. But they weren't completely horrible.
They were sleepable.
For the most part, yes. I did have to have extra pillows to kind of help along, but it wasn't like, well, it wasn't like I had to go sleep out on the pool deck. I'm on the balcony to get some sleep.
You're gonna have to sleep out on the pool deck?
I mean, hey, I'm royal,
Might have to with Allure, but anyway, yeah, I have to agree with that. They were accommodating. They did give us an extra layer of comfort, which we didn't use. We just kept it on top of the bed, so it kind of helped as like a bed topper type thing. And then they gave us these cool little throw blankets I really liked.
I really like those.
Yeah.
They kind of reminded me of ours.
Yeah.
But smaller.
Mm-hmm. And they were comfortable. They kept you warm, and they were soft and just...
I like that velvet kind of feeling. They were really cool. I like them.
So, really, really impressed with that part. So, it made the bed tolerable. Definitely not the worst we slept on, and definitely not the best we slept on. So there is room for improvement, but again, it was good. Yeah. It was okay.
Okay. For number 2, we have the internet. In my opinion, the connection wasn't
everywhere.
Yeah.
It was in places where you thought it wouldn't be, but there was places that you thought it would be that it's not. Like we had a pretty decent signal inside our stateroom, but if we went out on the balcony,
literally
you dropped it.
Yeah, if you can literally be on this side of the door, you step into the door frame, you lost it completely.
First time we ever had internet on the ship. We've never really had to buy internet before. It was nice to have, so we could keep in contact with the kids that were at home and the people that were taking care of the kids while we were gone. So the internet was okay. Definitely not real fast. As you've seen, we did a live show on board.
We attempted to.
It did all right. Better than I thought it would, to be honest with you. But you could tell it was definitely glitchy. But it was okay. Not too bad for especially an older cruise ship. Little side note, I want to talk about the Carnival PR, since that has to do with the internet thing. As you guys know, we did contact Carnival PR through Twitter when we were having problems finding food for Heather on board. They were very quick to respond and very quick to get in contact with the ship. So I do want to say I am very impressed with the Carnival PR on
the side of the internet.
The side of the Twitter account. So very good on that part. As you guys seen, the ship tried, but I think it's a little bit too late. Yeah. Too little, too late, as they say. I think this is something that maybe they should have probably tried to take care of on day 1 when we told them we had a problem. All right, so any more comments on PR or internet?
Nope.
All right. So the third thing that we thought was just okay, and this was borderline bad, was the Paradise's disembarking procedures. So it was. I kind of wish we would have got it on film.
We were trying to just make sense of everything.
Yeah.
There was no way we could.
Right. And when we came out of our room, we could have jumped into the line and went through the art gallery.
Mm-hmm.
But because there was no direction on anything, and it wasn't like a steady stream of lines, a line of people coming through, so you really had no concept of what was really going on. You know, you see people just moving all the time throughout the hallways, so you think nothing of it until you start to see everybody coming your way, and you're like, wait a minute, are we going the wrong way? And somebody finally said, yeah, if you're trying to get off the ship, you better turn around, bud.
Yeah. So, and then once you got to the atrium, it was really disorganized. As long as you stayed in your line, you were okay. But if you looked the other way and you lost your line, it was like following a bunch of classes to the gymnasium.
So we were on the level where we just get off the ship, which was deck 7. So it was supposed to be relatively easy for us to get off the ship. But we also seen people coming down from other decks that shouldn't have been coming down yet at the time, because our decks were supposed to be disembarking first.
Yeah.
And then the upper decks. And you seen them, they were, I guess they kind of were blocking the elevators, but not so much. You seen people coming down the stairs.
Mm-hmm.
So
there was some people at the stairs trying to tell them that they had to wait.
So that's the only thing I seen that was positive about the situation.
Which is the only reason why I went up to our OKs.
Yeah. So definitely could have been a lot better. Just very disorganized. And going into the port, as I kind of ranted about earlier in the vlog, in the disembarkation log, it was very disorganized. People just going everywhere. You had a handicapped family coming through with several people that there's no way they're all family.
I mean, there was literally one handicapped person, and there was like, I think I said about 30, but it was about 30 to 40 people. They're like, oh yeah, we're with them, and just random people that just started clicking in, like, yeah, we're with them too, and it's like,
yeah, there's no way. And the lady that was giving me a hard time about having the camera out that wasn't even recording, it was upside down, for crying out loud.
Upside down with the lens closed.
Yes, upside down with the lens closed, everything. And she gave me a hard time.
But there were people literally sitting there playing on their phones.
That could have been recording. So it's just stupid that they're not very organized coming off the ship. Getting on the ship, a breeze.
Oh yeah, that was like, it took us from the time we started loading to the time we got onto the thing. It was literally probably, okay, well, the gangway was a little weird.
Yeah.
But other than that, I mean, it took us no time.
No time to get on board.
No time.
Very, very disappointed in that. But other than that, I don't have anything else on that.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll do the likes now.
Okay. So the first like we have on here is the interior design. I thought it was really pretty. It is an older ship,
even with
so
the wood
smaller
grain, it looked pretty.
Yeah, so it is a smaller ship. So like you're not gonna get the high ceilings on every level, but it was nice.
Or the mirrors everywhere.
Yeah, it was really pretty. The atrium
got lots of eggs though.
There's literally eggs everywhere. They're little turquoise eggs. We've pointed them out on our vlogs. Mm-hmm. Everywhere. But the atrium, when you first walked in, it was... Your second impression was better than the first impression, in my opinion. Because the second time when we were able to get to our room and everything else, and then we came out when the crowds were pretty much gone, it was like, oh wow, this is really pretty. But when you first on, it's very crowded. I mean, the bar's right there. I mean, it's not very big. It's not big at all. So you literally have to walk around this bar to get anywhere, and there's not a whole lot of space between like guest services or the cruise, the excursion place to where the bar is, and then you've got people that are sitting at the bars or at the place. So you literally have like a little pathway to walk through to get anywhere. And when you're trying to get everybody on board, and then to try to take pictures and videos and all this other stuff, it was a mess. It was way too crowded.
Also, there was people trying to sell stuff.
Yeah.
As you were coming on board.
I mean,
they were trying to sell spa packages. They were trying to get kids to sign up for the kids club, which is fine and dandy, but don't do it at the door where people are getting on the ship.
Because it's so
already
small.
Yeah, it's already too small.
There was no space, and that's what I think blocked up the gangway. So it's very tiny as is.
Well, we did have a handicapped person in front of us on a wheelchair. Or in a wheelchair.
Yeah, but that's fine. But
so it's hard for them to maneuver with the wheelchair.
Yeah.
So this is where that comes in. You're clogging up the entrance where people can't maneuver, like where you're on foot, you can just kind of move around people. But if you're on a wheelchair, you're not going to be able to do that as easily.
Yeah. So, I don't know, once the crowds kind of subsided, then you got that awe factor. It was really pretty. When we were in Cozumel, we were able to...
I wish it was decorated more for Christmas.
That was...
I think
there was a tree.
I think the Christmas decorations were just okay.
Yeah, there was a tree.
Mm-hmm.
That was pretty much it.
A couple, railing...
Oh, the gingerbread house village.
The gingerbread village was really cool.
Yeah. But other than that, I mean, there wasn't really anything. Mm-hmm. So.
Did you talk about the LED lights?
No, it was only the two because that was your favorite part.
So, the LED lights that are in the poles and in the ceiling were one of my favorite features on the ship.
Literally little tiny lights, but it just added enough elegance to everything.
Like I said, the ship is wood grain, so it's kind of got that like 90s feel to it. I mean, the ship was built in the 90s. But it's got that 90s feel to it, but it's, or even 80s maybe, but it still was genuinely nice and modern. One of our favorite places to hang out was by the coffee bar in that little yellow seating area. That was really cool. It had plenty of those LED lights in the wall and in the ceiling. Even the ceiling itself was pretty. Like I said, not a lot of glass like your newer modern ships that are smaller would have a lot of glass. Like MSC is full of glass.
Glass and mirrors and...
Yes. But this one is not. So what they did, I think they did well with what they had.
I think the only thing interior design-wise that I didn't really just didn't like, other than the atrium when you first came in, was the placement of like the casino. I think it was when you walk, it's too much in the paths. So when you walk through to another room, you're passing the casino, and there's no walls. I think that's like the biggest.
I think that's one of the big complaints on it is because you can smell smoke from the casino.
Yeah.
In the hallways and.
Because I mean it's all open. Like you're sitting in one bar somewhere else and you can see and smell the casino right there. I think interior design wise they should have put some type of wall around that in a sense. Maybe I don't know.
I don't know. I think they're trying to keep that open concept, but I think you're right. They needed something to kind of
or put it towards the back of the ship, maybe. I don't know. I just think like that's probably the only real interior design thing I didn't like was how that was too open to everything else.
I think as far as their
that's
neighborhood type areas, I think that was all pretty good. Their form of the promenade was not too bad. I did like that area. That was the same deck 9 where everything was that we hung out on, and it was nice.
Mm-hmm. The second thing on our list is our cabin. And it's actually surprising because our cabin was actually really tiny. It was perfect for just the two of us. Obviously, not something you want to have a third or fourth person in. I don't think there's space for that.
Not in our room, there wasn't.
No, but it was perfect for us. And if you like bigger rooms, you wouldn't have liked this room. It was.
You better get a suite.
Yeah, because.
At the least.
But I loved it. It was cozy. It was, like I said, it was perfect for us. It was like that, it was our first getaway from our kids, so we were trying to have a lot of just alone time with each other, so it really kind of just...
Felt cozy.
It did. It made us feel like we were on our own little getaway, So
I thought the bathroom was good.
Yeah, the bathroom was...
For the size of the ship.
A lot of people complain that there's not a whole lot of, storage in there, but... I don't know, maybe it's just because I don't bring my entire bathroom with me that it doesn't really...
And also the shower curtain, they complain about as well.
Yeah.
But I have a shower curtain at home, so it doesn't bother me.
Yeah. So, but, I don't know, I thought it was really cute.
We had one of the newer balconies.
So it used to be a window unit, so we did still have the window it had the, bay window little thing on it, so we were able to put our little towel animals on it. I loved having that window and then the door next to it. I thought ultimately I loved that setup, believe it or not.
And if you didn't know that they added this, you just wouldn't be able to tell. I mean,
yeah,
there were no real indications that they added this feature to the ship.
Yeah, it was, and the door leading out to there was a little small door, versus people are used to the big door that opens up. This was a little smaller one, which was kind of nice because it was we could move our chairs to the door and know that it wasn't going to get bumped or knocked or whatever. So but it was nice. The balcony was a good size. The room was good, perfect for us. I mean, it had everything still. Nice big TV. We had a spot for our ducks.
Yeah.
So
like I said, small but cozy.
So if you like small rooms, it wasn't for you. But if you're okay with that and you like that cozy, homey...
If you don't like small rooms, not for you.
What did I say?
You said if you like small rooms.
Oh, sorry. But if you like that homey type, feeling, family feeling, that was perfect.
So number 3 on our likes is the sail away party. This was one of the things that
was on our dislikes, I believe,
This was one of the things that we complained about. The MSC Divina and also the Allure of the Seas. There was lack thereof a sail away party. Now, I Facebooked Live when we were taking off, and it was kind of a gloomy day. It started to rain a little bit. But I Facebooked Live, and you could just tell the energy, even with the rain, the party continued.
They didn't care.
They didn't care.
Leon and his crew were still going.
Let me tell you something. I've been on several different cruises, and Leon Smith, you got it down, buddy. And
he was amazing.
I heard high praise on Leon before we got on this ship. I said, we'll see.
Yeah, because you get these cruise directors oh yeah, that one was great, and we're like, what? Yeah. Where do you get that? I mean, he came on the announcements just to get people amped up, for no reason. He
had probably way too much energy.
I loved it though.
Yes, Leon Smith, buddy, you got it going on. You are an amazing cruise director.
I've never met a cruise director with as much pizzazz as him.
He was personable. He would go out and meet people.
Yeah, he was walking around having drinks, meeting people, whatever. He was on point. Yeah. I will say I did see more of the crew on Carnival than I did, with Royal. As far as we were with the first officer in the elevator.
Yes.
And he chatted with us, and the kids were like, "Oh, he's the first officer." I mean, we watched Star Trek, so they're thinking, oh my god, this is like the biggest thing ever.
Yeah.
Beside me and the captain. So, he was like, oh yeah, and he's actually talking to them. So, props to him. Like, it was just like, the captain came around a couple times. We've seen him, and he was talking with people. So it really just, the whole crew just seemed to really kind of get out there. But definitely the sail away party, and it wasn't just sail away party. There were so many other parties. It was like party ended, they moved to another location, had another party. That party ended, went to another location, had another party. So it was like throughout the entire trip, it was really nice. But the sail away party, on point.
All right, so
now we get to the bad stuff.
We get to the dislikes of the Carnival Paradise.
And I'm going to tell you this, it was really hard to limit it to 3.
So we'll start off with pool and whirlpools.
They weren't even hot tubs. Okay.
Well, they were hot tubs, but
they were not very hot.
Yeah.
So they were more like the whirlpools. So, okay.
One pool.
Pool.
For the entire ship.
One small pool.
So before the ship got refurbished, the ship used to have 2 pools. It had one where it is in the middle, and then one in the back, a small one. They took that out for the water park.
Yeah.
But the problem is, now you have one pool for the entire ship. That's my problem.
There was no pool in the adult area. There was
no
only
pool
2
in the adult area.
Small hot tubs that held up.
And only one worked at a time, it seemed like.
Yeah. So
I
think you were only supposed to have like 4 people in the hot tub, if that. Maybe 3. I think 3 would fit comfortably. But there would be 5 people in there, and you can tell they were kind of like on top of each other. Some of them were sitting on the edge with their feet in, and it was just the most crowded. And then the pools, you couldn't even get into the pool. Like, we didn't get into a single pool or hot tub because they were so full the entire trip. Our bathing suits never got wet.
We even tried going at night.
Yeah.
Wasn't happening.
Not happening. So we spent our times at the bar.
So that was a dislike.
Big dislike.
I wish they could add a pool somewhere or something. I don't know what they can do about that, but I think they have a lot of space on the ship that's not being utilized that could probably...
They have a lot of open space.
Turn something into a pool. I don't know, but I can tell you what they have is just not big enough. All right, so number 2 is the crew. So we were 50-50 on this. And the reason why it makes dislikes, because we dealt with more of the dislike side of it.
Yeah.
So you had Leon Smith, who was awesome.
And like I said, the first officer, the captain, like you had these people of like higher rank that were really awesome.
You had bartenders.
We had a lot of bartenders that were great. We had that one specifically we went to all the time. On point.
And there was a reason why we went to him all the time.
Because he's on point.
Well, that and the other thing, we go to other bars and they just kind of not care that you're there. They just kind of make your drink and there you go.
He actually talked to us. Like, we were people to him,
I think the problem is, well, let me say this. I think the problem is the cruise is just so short. It's a 4 and 5 day cruise. So the crew doesn't take the time to know anybody because it's such a short cruise. So our room steward, he was pretty good. He probably would have made the okay list, but he wasn't.
That last night, we never saw him.
We never seen him the last night. He didn't even come turn down our beds or bed.
No animal.
We had to ask him for ice every time.
Mm-hmm.
So that was not automatic.
He was not very good about taking the trash or trays out of the room.
Mm-hmm.
We tried to keep him out of the hallway because the hallways were small, and it wasn't like a regular.
But we ended up having to put it out in the hallway
Yeah.
because he wouldn't take it.
Usually, and they were really bad at picking the stuff up in the hallway, so it was like we were constantly walking over people's trays because the hallways were so much smaller than a typical cruise. So it was like we were really trying to be courteous to these other cruisers who had to walk through the hallways. So we figured, we'll keep our stuff, in here. Wasn't that big of a deal. But it got to a point where he would come and turn on our bed and still not take this stuff. And we're like, okay, well, now we have to do something. So I don't know. He was okay.
I just think a lot of the crew was just there.
There was not really a whole lot of personality to a lot of them. But like I said, there were
especially
some that really
the
stood
people
out.
that, helped serve food or in the MDR or whatever it may be. They were just there.
They were like very programmed.
Yes, it's a good word for it. So I would like to see a big improvement on this. I hope it's not all of Carnival, because we've been on Carnival before and it was not like that on the Pride.
No.
So hopefully this is just a isolated incident and it's not on every Carnival ship, but personality is huge. What else can you say? All right, the last and final thing, I'm going to leave it to Heather and try to be brief. I know it's going to be hard.
This is going to be it is.
But I'm just going to leave it to her because it's going to be her domain for the most part. I might chime in here and there, but
It's definitely the food. So, as you guys should know by now from previous vlogs, I do have celiac. Celiac means I cannot have any of the gluten because my body cannot process it. It's not technically an allergy, it is a deficiency. So, but a lot of people understand it as a gluten allergy as if it were a peanut allergy or lactose intolerant, and then there's gluten free. So, this means I cannot have breads, pastas.
it's actually a lot like
oats,
lactose intolerant.
Yeah. I'm very limited on what I can eat already. I can't have any. Some people have different sensitivities, so some are like, okay, a little bit of cross contamination is not a big deal for them, so it's okay. Others are like, they can't even touch it. I can't touch it part, but I definitely cannot have the cross contamination. If it's touching it, if something fell on it, and even if it was immediately picked up, if you used the same hand to grab bread as you did, a boiled egg, I can't eat that boiled egg, because I get sick. I get very, very sick. With that little explanation, they sucked. There is, one vlog where all we did was rant about it. I starved the entire cruise. I literally was able to eat little things to kind of get me from point A to point B, but it wasn't like there's much. I'm not a big steak person. I actually really don't like steak. I know, it's really weird. If I'm eating a steak, something is completely wrong. I think I've eaten maybe 13 years we've been married. I think I've eaten steak maybe twice, 3 times at most. I don't like steak. Hamburgers, I can eat them every so often. I can't eat them every day, especially not multiple times a day. But that was my resort. And the bread, we came up with this conclusion. It's one dough for everything, because the consistency of this bread is. Have you ever played with that? What is it? That moon sand or something, where it's like you can mold it, and then it can just crumble in your hands. That's exactly what it was like. Okay, it was nasty. I hated the taste. I tried to put slab butter all over it to try to eat it. It was the nastiest thing ever.
I'd just like to add that even the regular pizza was nasty.
Yeah, the pizza was horrible. I went to go. I was like, oh, okay. So they brought it out. It looked decent, a little personal pizza, and I was like, well, this actually looks kind of decent. Not the greatest, but it looks edible, right? I go to pick it up and it goes. And I'm like, it disintegrated. It legit disintegrated in my hand. And I'm like, well, this isn't right. Pick up another piece, same thing. And I'm like, okay, I get a fork, right? So I get a fork and I take a bite. I spit it up and I thought I was going to throw up. It was so nasty. I don't know what it was. It was just nasty. So I think that night I ended up just snacking on a couple grapes and then I called it good.
The salad is already pre-mixed with.
Yeah, so I was able to get one salad out of the entire cruise because
they brought it out. They brought it out right as you.
I literally caught them while it was going. It was still in the tray. They didn't even put the croutons on it yet. So I was like, oh wait, and I was trying to get a plate, and then I went back and they had croutons on everything. So every night there's croutons on everything.
Bread in the bacon.
Yeah, there's bread in the bacon. Their buffet, the way they set up their buffet, it was not like eggs are here, sausage here, fruit here, your bread down at the other end. It was rolls here, eggs here, biscuits here, crackers here, so it was like everything was way too close that people were trying to like grab things. Some people drop bread in the eggs, so they pick it right back up, and I'm just like, I can't even eat scrambled eggs. Like I had to
tongs from different containers,
pick up the bread and then use it for the eggs and sausage, and I couldn't eat any of it. So I
resorted to the
omelets
every day,
and they were good, but it gets boring. And
besides the last day that we were on board, disembarkment day, the omelets were good. Every time you had one, they were good.
They were good, but they're not very filling for very long.
But I'm just saying what was good.
Yeah.
On the ship, the omelets were good, and Guy's burger was good.
It was.
Didn't get a chance to try the Mexican one, Blue Cantina. Maybe next time. But it just, everything else didn't look appetizing, even for me, even for somebody that doesn't have the allergy or any allergies for that matter. It just didn't look appetizing, so I kept it simple.
We did try every other option. We
even went to the MDR.
Yeah, okay, and I don't do MDR. We don't do the MDR. We are not MDR type people.
And anybody that knows us knows we don't do the MDR.
I don't typically even pack for that. I don't even know why I packed for it this time.
I don't know.
I just did. I don't know. But I never do. I've never packed for it because we know we're not going to go. For some reason this time I did, thankfully, but
it's not like it helped out.
It didn't. I had to resort to steak because that was it. And like I said, I'm not a steak person, so.
The chicken wasn't bad from there.
Yes, but they didn't.
Flavorful.
But they couldn't tell me what seasonings they used on it. Therefore, I couldn't have the chicken because I'm not telling them. Because some seasonings do contain flour, so I have to be careful when it comes to the seasoning aspects. They couldn't tell me what was the seasonings on it. I asked if it was gluten free, and everything they kept saying is they didn't even know. They would just tell me no. So what I came to the conclusion of it was no. So we've tried asking people, what do you have that's gluten free? Do you have any types of pasta? Do you have any, anything? And so they're like, oh yeah, we got subs. Go to the deli, tell them you want it. Go get the pizza. Well, the pizza was a fail, so we tried the sub place like they said. I told them I need gluten free.
Which they had.
They did, but then they put it on. Okay, so they're making the pizza and they're making subs. Okay, this person wants this one. Okay, cut it. Right? Okay. And I say, okay, I need gluten free. All new, everything. Gloves, knife, everything. Everything needs to be new and clean. And she goes, oh, okay. Issue 1. She just put it on the same plate, on the same table. I'm like, no. New. All new. New gloves, new wipes, cleaned out. Go take it somewhere else. It cannot be contaminated. She goes, okay, what do you want? And I said, no. And then the guy's like, she wants another one. So, oh, okay. I'm like, it has to be on a plate. You cannot touch the table. So she puts it on a plate. And she goes, what kind of meat? And I was like, well, I want a new roll and I want ham. So she, oh, okay. Puts it on the plate. Okay, still using the same gloves. Okay. Reaches her hands into the same meat that she's been touching everybody else's bread with. And at this point I said, however you're going to make it, because I can't eat it. So I had to put it down somewhere else. I couldn't even eat it. So then I figured, I will call for room service. I will ask for a sub through room service. That was a bust, because they had the same nasty bread. And then the tuna. I didn't think people could mess up tuna. They can. They did. It was horrible. Completely unedible. So, therefore, I didn't eat. There was a lot of things where I didn't eat. We went to MDR. I got the steak. And I don't even think I even ate it all, because it was, I don't know. Like, I'm not a steak person. The broccoli was good.
You went to the brunch place.
We did go to the brunch place. I got eggs on steak.
They messed up the steak.
And again, I was going to only eat half the steak, but I cut into it, and it was like rare.
It was mooing.
It was so gross. Blood just like poured out of the plate. And then it took us like 20 minutes just to get somebody's attention. I got the main person's attention, and I told him, I was like, this is supposed to, I turned it around and said, this was supposed to be
brunch manager.
Well.
He was the brunch manager. Brunch.
Yeah. And he goes, that's like rare. And I was like, yeah. So he took it back and he brought me a new one. And it was good. That steak was actually better than the one at the main dining room, believe it or not. But I still don't like steak. Okay? But I ate it, because at this point I was so hungry. I had to eat something. And then it just, from there, I mean, it was like everywhere we went, everybody we asked, everything we got. And like I said, we went to the main dining room. I specifically asked. I didn't have a single dessert. There was no dessert for me. I had no jello, no pudding, no nothing. We asked everybody. Like I said, guest services, we went. We talked to the chefs. We talked to just about everybody. I could ask for the burgers. They did have a roll, the same dough for the burgers, but it was so that I had to take the top bun off, and most of the time it's the bottom of bun off too. But you have to ask for it with the bun, because otherwise they try to give you the same meat that they're using and touching the breads with. And so it was really frustrating, because even if I told them like a whole new tray, a whole new thing, everything, they just didn't get it. So I had to just ask gluten-free, and then they're like, oh, okay. So then they had to make it. I couldn't eat any of the fries. No fries.
Although we never did see onion rings, so.
Yeah.
Because they said it was cooked with onion rings.
You know, I don't get it. I'm like, okay, whatever. But they were very consistent on the no, you cannot because of this. So I left it at that. But again, I couldn't eat any of the fries. I couldn't eat pretty much anything. So I starved most of the groups. And then the last night, once we did the PR, they called me. It was funny because we were sitting there. We had just gotten done ranting on a vlog. I had been crying the entire day. And it takes a lot to make me like really upset to the point where I'm going to cry. But I was so hungry. I was so like just frustrated that I was crying the entire day. And so they
didn't even get to enjoy the day. We were looking for food.
Mm-hmm. And that's what it felt like most of the trip was. We were looking for something for me to eat. But so we were sitting on the bed watching TV, and the phone rang, and it scared the crap out of me. Well, I picked up the phone, and they were like, you know, Heather, and I was like, yes. And they're like, okay, we're gonna call you in 5 minutes. And I was like, okay. And he hung up. I was like, okay. And about 2 minutes later, now I was expecting like about 5 minutes, but literally like shortly after I got back into the bed and we started watching TV, the phone rang again. Scared me again. Then they were like, well, you know, we can give you, if you go to the main dining room, we'll do a chef's choice. And I was like, a chef's choice? What do you mean? And he goes, well, the chef will pick out something and, you know, make it and you can eat it. Well, that's not going to do me any good if I don't want it. You know? Like, if I don't like it, if you're going to make me, you know, steak and beans. Like, you know, I'm not gonna want to eat it. But so it was just really kind of like, you know, that's not gonna work for me. And they're like, well, that or you can meet the guy and, you know, the buffet, and he can show you where your gluten-free options are. It's like, we've done that. And so they're like, okay, well, we'll see you in the main dining room. I was like, whatever. So I hung up. I was already mad because we already went to the main dining room. I already spent 2 hours in there, and it didn't do me any good. So I'm not going to waste 2 more hours of my day to go sit there for the same results as it was the day before. So we did not show up for our time. And I think that's when it clicked, like, oh crap, this really is bad. Because then they came to our room.
Yeah, they noticed we didn't show up.
Yeah, so they came to our room. They personally came to our room, knocked on the door, and we answered. And this lady comes in. She was, I guess, like the main person for the dining room area. And she was like, you know, I heard you were having issues trying to find food. And I was like, well, yeah. And so she brought in like some menus for us to look at. And I guess at this point they were just trying to make up for something. So they brought us the steakhouse menu. And I'm like, great, steak. And then she's like, well, you have any of these options, you know, anything on this menu that you want? She was even these options. And it was the upcharge options, like the more, like, not just
upcharge.
Not the upcharge, but like the upcharge. And I'm a big seafood person, so I seen there's lobster. Now I was at the point where I wasn't going to pay for a lobster dinner if I'm supposed to get an all you can eat and they aren't accommodating me. But we were at a point I was like, okay, I was hungry. So I know we debated it at one point, and I was just like, I wouldn't do it because I was already frustrated with them. So anyways, they said we can get the lobster if I wanted to. So that's what I did. I was like, I want lobster. So then he's like, I'll do the same thing. So I'm like, cool. Then he gets a salad. I can't get a salad because I already know, like, how the salads come. So I'm like, no, I'm not doing a salad. I was like, I'll do the shrimp cocktail. So they did, I think, like 2 shrimp cocktails or something because they made it really big. And they gave us each 2 lobster tails, which I think it usually comes with 1. She was like, well, what about dessert? And I was like, you guys don't have gluten-free desserts. I've asked. And so she's like, well, you know, let me talk with the chef and see what he can make. I was like, hey, whatever you want to do. Sure, whatever. So then she comes back. And like I said, we got like 4 lobster tails. And his salad and baked potatoes and my shrimp. And then there's 2 cheesecakes. Okay, now, you want to make anything up to me, give me cheesecake. And it was crustless, so, you know, it was gluten-free. So, it was good. It wasn't, yeah, it was good. But it still doesn't make up for the whole trip, you know.
Too little, too late.
Yes. So, definitely a big negative for the smaller...
And I hope it is just the smaller Carnival ships.
Me too.
Like I said, I would love to go on other bigger Carnival ships like the Breeze. But if that's how Carnival is, I don't want to go on it because she can't eat nothing.
I mean, we even, okay, when we go to ports, we eat before we get off and we eat when we get back on because you're paying for an all-inclusive. You're paying for that food on your ship already. So why would I go off port to pay for food? We did. We went and saw Raul, and we ended up getting something to eat because that was the only thing I could eat. And I think that was the
chips were good.
Yeah, and so I think that was the reason why I didn't want us to have to pay for the lobster or whatever, because I was like, okay, well, I mean, I'm hungry, but, you know, it was our last night, so I knew the next morning I'd be on land, and we had the day before or whatever, the chips, I guess. So I don't know, but we did have to buy food off port, so it was frustrating.
Mm-hmm.
But
I mean, we were, even before Raul, we were going to find something for her to at least snack on.
It was, and
it just happened to be Raul that, you know, caught our attention. So I mean, how could you miss him? We love you, Raul.
He stalked us. But it was cool. And I'm probably going to go back when we go, like if we ever go back, just go and find him and just be like, is Raul working today?
Where's Raul?
I want Raul.
All right. So that about covers it?
I think so.
All right. We appreciate you guys for watching all of the Carnival Paradise vlogs. We did have a fun trip. Just the food situation sucked. The ship was nice. Do I recommend it to anybody? Sure, as long as you don't have an allergy.
Or if you're looking for extravagant. Don't go if you're looking for like Allure of the Seas.
Right.
It's not.
It's a great first timer cruise.
Mm-hmm. Or if
because
you just want a quick
it is
getaway.
a 4 or 5 night cruise, so that's fine. That's my other thing about the 4 or 5 night cruises. Just keep in mind the 3, 4, 5 night cruises that it's known as a party cruise. So keep that in mind. You know what happens when people tend to drink too much.
Which is the thing we could not put on our dislikes because we can only limit it to 3. But
You might have a fight outside your door.
or in the hallways because somebody bumps into somebody, or you know.
Guys, if
you're
an angry drunk, don't drink or don't go on the ship. Simple.
It's really that easy.
I said that in the vlog. I'll say it again.
I mean,
Simple.
I'm a fun drunk.
Yeah, so am I.
I mean, I'm very loud and outgoing, but it's very fun or funny. Either way, it's not angry.
So, anyways, like I said, the ship itself is a nice ship for the age of it. There are some places where you have to go, like if you're trying to get to a dining room, you have to go up a deck, then down a deck. It's really weird to get to some of these places, but it's an older ship, so it's not very well laid out, but it's nice.
It's there.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think.
Would we go back on the Paradise? No. But would I recommend the Paradise? Absolutely.
I think every ship, and being MSC, we didn't really care for MSC, but some people do like MSC. Some people like their food. We did not like their food. I would recommend any ship to anybody because I think you should experience them, and I think you have to form your own opinion.
Yeah, exactly.
So, but for us personally, it's not a ship that we would go on again. It's not a ship that.
But would I go on Divina again? I think I would.
I think I would too.
Just throwing it out there. Even though we didn't have a great experience on Divina back in 2017.
It wasn't horrible to a point where we wouldn't go. So.
All right. So anyway, thank you for watching all of our Carnival Paradise vlogs. I hope you enjoyed them.
And if you haven't,
go
watch them.
Go watch them. Check out our room tour and our ship tour. And we might have a cruise announcement real soon. Just throwing it out there.
You mean even with all this Corona stuff going on?
Maybe. Alright guys, thanks for watching.
Alright, well this is Us and More. We're living life to the fullest.